Hello and welcome to my first look at the Psychic Awakening War of the Spider book from Games Workshop. It's right here. It will cost you £25. It's a fair amount of money. Personally, I would rather these Psychic Awakening books be £20 rather than the full codex price, but they do have a fair amount of content in. I just wish that they were double the size, because there's a few that's 80 pages, there's a couple that's 100. I just think 180 pages or so for a book of £25, a bit like Vigilus, would have been better rather than span them out over many books, because the formats are almost identical. Anyway, this is quite unprecedented that we've had two Psychic Awakening books within 2 weeks of each other. I think that's mainly because of the shutdown more than anything. You know, they would have spanned them out longer if the web store was still open over those 10 weeks. Let's unwrap this and have a little look, see if it's worth your money. One thing I can already see is that there is a bit of damage just here, which is a little bit yeah, disappointing. I think that just is one of those things. Maybe it's damaged when it's being made because it's sealed. It doesn't look like the damage has happened through the plastic wrapping, so probably happened quite a while ago. But this is the book. If you're into Chaos and you're into Fabius Bile, this is the kind of go-to book for him right now. Let's read you the preface. So you've got Fabius Bile, and you've got Sisters of Silence, you've got some Death Guard, you've got some Chaos, and you've got some Legio Custodes. It says, the galaxy writhes in the grip of warp-spawned madness. As the tides of mutation, horror and bloodshed rise ever higher, they engulf one world after another while consigning countless billions of souls to oblivion. It is a time of unfettered mayhem in which even the strongest risk losing all they hold dear to the ceaseless savagery of war. Yet there is opportunity too, for those who know how to harness the mayhem while pitting their foes against one another to their mutual ruin. Fabius Bile is one such agent of anarchy. The Spider has hatched a fresh and hideous plan for power amidst the flickering word lights of the Great Rift, and now he pits himself against the might of Typhus's Death Guard and the agents of the Golden Throne in a gamble to seize incalculable power. The cost in lives will be high, but Bile means to ensure he is not the only one who pays. So it seems like he's going against, you know, Typhus and the Custodes. You've got here, it says, cunning savagery fought upon the Eye of Terror between the Death Guard, Talons of the Emperor, Officio Assassinorum, and Fabius Bile's renegade allies. Crucible of War missions inspired the exciting books depicted in the book. And then you've got additional rules, including relics, name generators, data sheets, warlord traits, stratagems, and subfactions for the Talons of the Emperor, Death Guard, Officio Assassinorum, and the augmented and degenerated altered warriors who make up the creations of Bile. There you go. So let's have an in-depth look at this. Oh, lovely bit of artwork there for the Custodes. Amazing. Going up against Chaos. War of the Spider. Introduction. It looks like you've got the three factions: Talons of the Emperor, Chaos, and Death Guard. A convergence of prey. Warzone Cadia. How many of these maps are we going to have? You know, it'd be nice to have a map of all the maps, maybe. Ambush on Limaxis. So a little bit of a fiction there. That's quite cool. Death on Bearsten. The Unraveling Web. Echoes of Awakening. Really cool, isn't it, that? And then missions. So go straight onto the missions. You've got the Threshing Fields, Theatres of War, Crucible of War, Merciless Ambush with some stratagems, Crucible of War, Hostile Acquisitions, more stratagems, Crucible of War, Unexpected Quarters, and that's it. So is that 3? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 more missions there, all Crucible of Wars. Talons of the Emperor, here we go. The 10,000. You've got a load of relics, shield hosts, so relics of terror, shadow keepers, and here we go. So yeah, you've got a relic of terror, Admone Mortis, which is a Castellan axe. You've got Solar Watch, you've got the Swift Silver Talon, which is a Guardian Spear. And then you've got a different Vexilla, and then you've got some stratagems, and then Lords of the Shield Host, Captain Commander, Adeptus Custodes name generator. That's interesting. Constantin, look. You've got Valorian, not Valerian. Constor, Valdis. That's pretty cool. I do like the name generators. I have wished for them for a while, for Space Marines as well. Cadres of the Sisters, Cadres of the Silent Sisters. You've got some points values here, this is interesting. Oh, and you've got some data sheets too. Okay, so you've got Null Maiden Rhino, Prosecutors, Vigilators, and Witch Seekers. If you haven't already, I really do recommend you read Chris Wright's Watchers of the Throne books, absolutely fantastic. Here we go, so you've got elites, so no HQ as such, but you've got elites, prosecutors, vigilators, witch seekers, and Null Maiden Rhino. Don't know whether that Rhino's, if there's anything different with it, but I think this is the way you can have Sisters of Silence in your Talons of the Emperor for 40k now. And then you've got some stratagems, name generator, and then Imperial Agents, Execution Force, so you've got all the points there, including the war gear, all the assassins are 95 points. And then you've got the data sheets, brilliant. So for me, it's worth it just for this alone. The Sisters of Silence stuff is good, but this is fantastic too. I've been looking for these data sheets for such a long time. I think they did bring them out in White Dwarf, but they're now in a, you know, I say proper book. This is fantastic. I'm gonna love reading through these, and this has actually inspired me to do a review of these assassins for 8th edition. I think I did a review of them couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago, but I will do another review of these based on this this book now. They're all movement 7 inches, I think. Yep, and they're all extremely deadly. You know, the Exodus rifle there, 72-inch range. You got the Calidus assassin with a phase sword, where invulnerable saves cannot be made. You got the Eversaur assassin, which has, you know, 6 attacks, and when he kills, he generates more attacks. He's got that Neuro Gauntlet. And the power sword. Then you've got the Calexis assassin, which has got that Animus Speculum, which changes it to assault D6 if there's any psychers, and it's an 18-inch range weapon. Amazing. And then you've got Assassinorum stratagems, and then you've got Death Guard. So you've got the Fecund Legion, plague weapons. You've got the Relics of Decay, this is interesting, so you've now got some new relics for the Death Guard. You've got some stratagems, quite a few stratagems, and plague companies. Here you go, so you've got the Harbingers with a different bomb, a Rot Skull bomb. You've got the Inexorable, Mortarian's Anvil, and the Wretched. Poxmongers, the Ferrymen, and Mortarian's Chosen Sons, and a Death Guard name generator. Oh, these are awesome. Look at this. Putrus, Claticist, Pustus, oh, obviously Pustus, you know. The Unclean, obviously, Pustus the Unclean, of course. Agents of Bile. And yeah, creations of Bile, spider's web, and then you've got a nice little background about Fabius Bile and his datasheet. This is probably one of the reasons why you're watching this video. I'm not sure whether his datasheet comes in the box that he comes with, but there are all of his rules there. He's a PowerPoint cost of a 5, he's an HQ, he's got all kinds of different weapons going on, and he's got an Acolyte too, which quite tough. The Acolyte has got a toughness of 4. If you would like me to go through the rules for Fabius Bile, please do put it in the comments down below. I won't be getting the model. I may be getting the model. He is a Chaos Heretic Astartes, and I do have a Heretic Astartes army, so technically I can bring him into the Chaos Space Marine army. I can't see why I wouldn't be able to. So yeah, if you'd like to see the model and me go through the rules, please do put it in the comments below. I'll try and do my best. Relics of Bile, and then some stratagems as well. But yeah, which start there. So that's it. So it's 80 pages. It's quite a thin book, but I feel that this one has got a lot of content for the 80 pages. You know, it covers a lot of ground. You've got a fair amount of lore and backstory there. I'd say, what's that? That is 20 pages or so, covering the backstory and a bit of lore. You've only got a few missions, but then it goes through Talons of the Emperor with some relics for Custodes and 4 data sheets for the Sisters of Silence. You've then got the 4 data sheets for the Assassinorum. You haven't got any data sheets for Death Guard, which is fine, but you've got a few pages of stratagems, and you've got more plague companies, and then you've got the data sheet for Fabius Bile. So I think it's all right. I don't think it knocks your socks off, but if you've got a slight interest in any of those, in Chaos or in Custodes, I think this will still quell your thirst. I think the books are getting better now, although this is 80 pages, definitely with Engine War, with Adeptus Mechanicus and the Slaanesh and the Chaos Demon content in that book. Anyway, what do you guys think of the book, War of the Spider? Is this the final Psychic Awakening book? I'm not sure, maybe there's another one after this, or a couple more. We'll find out soon, won't we? Put your comments and thoughts down below as always. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor protects.